What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Well, Brandon Ingram of the New Orleans Pelicans seems to be letting it be known that he is dissatisfied with his situation with New Orleans. On Instagram, he put out a post of a clip, I should say, of a motivational speaker. And the motivational speaker in his clip seems to be reflecting Brandon Ingram's dissatisfaction with the New Orleans Pelicans. This is what the clip says.
Cannot stay in environments where people don't know the true value of you. If you stay in environments where people don't recognize the value of you, you will shrink your gift to the size of what they can stand.
Well, I don't know about you, but that seems to be suggesting that Brandon Ingram feels like the Pelicans don't value his talent, don't value his contributions, and don't value his market value. Don't seem to recognize his market value. All right. So, according to reports, Brandon Ingram may be done in New Orleans. And, this comes down to, I believe, a couple of things. I think it comes down to money and his role on the team on when they're playing on the floor. I think that more importantly, this is about money. The timing of this post is particularly noteworthy as Ingram is entering the final year of his 5-year, $158 million contract with the Pelicans. Throughout the offseason, there have been rumors and discussions about whether the Pelicans would offer Ingram a max extension worth $208 million, a figure that Ingram reportedly seeks. However, the Pelicans have been hesitant to commit to such a large contract, given the team's mixed results and Ingram's occasional struggles with consistency, particularly during the playoffs. Now, during the regular season, Brandon Ingram has played in 287 games, averaging 23.1 points, 5.5 rebounds, 5.2 assists, 47.2% shooting during that time period, 37.2 from beyond the arc, and 84.7% from downtown. Now, in the postseason, he has averaged 21.9 points, 5.5 rebounds, 5 assists, but his overall field goal percentage has only been 43.4%, significantly down from his regular season average, but he's still shooting 37.1% from downtown. In the postseason, 84.8% from the line. So those are consistent. The points a little bit down, the rebounds about the same. The field goal percentage has been down much. But to be fair, he's only appeared in 10 postseason games. So it's a very, very small sample size. It'd be one thing if this was like 30, 40 games and more, but 10 games, that's a small sample size. But then you could say, well, why haven't you been in the postseason more? If you're the organization, why haven't you helped to lead us to the postseason? But then he has a perfectly great excuse for that. Number one, the Western Conference is rather top heavy. It has a lot of teams that are better than them, namely the Nuggets. Of course, you got to throw in, at this point in time, last few years, the Pelicans. The Suns have been better than them more, pretty much most of the time anyway, especially when Chris Paul was there. The Fakers, all the help they get from the NBA and the league. And the Kings and the Warriors won a championship a couple years ago, even though like the Warriors on their way down. So, and then there are various other teams. So at the end of the day, in any given year, the Pelicans are only the 8th to 10th best team in the West. So you know, there's that. Then another thing I think that the Pelicans are looking at that may hesitate them uh, giving Ingram so much money is the emergence of a guy like Trey Murphy, Trey Murphy the third. I'm so used to the other Murphy. Over the past couple of years, he has been averaging around 14, 15 points a game. And he's shown such improvement in his game, you know what I'm saying, that they're looking at him as potentially the second option to Zion Williamson, potentially. So that's why they're hesitant. They're looking at the development, I think, of Trey Murphy the third. Also, I think what is bothering Brandon Ingram is the fact that, and this is why I think is really the heart of the matter outside of money. Look, man, Zion Williamson has been going through what he's been going through the last couple of years, right? This is a guy that's supposed to have been one of the league's top superstars. He's had consistent problems. Now, we applaud him for apparently getting right, taking his career seriously, getting in tremendous shape. He looks to be in the best shape of his basketball career. Probably the best shape he's been in since high school, honestly. But still, this is a guy that for the first few years of his career has consistently been out of shape, has consistently not played, and has had so much off the court BS. But he's still with the team. And the way that he's being projected is that he's still the number one option. Whereas Brandon Ingram, without Zion Williamson there, for the most part, kept the franchise afloat and pretty much led them to the playoffs with Zion hanging on. And then, you know what I'm saying, they may have been able to advance had Zion not come up lame in the postseason last year. Remember he came up lame? Got hurt. I mean, you can't help that, but still, this is a consistently out of shape, consistently injured player, so-called superstar, who, you know what I'm saying, you can't really rely on. But they seem to be insisting on him being the future, him being the guy who they want to bank their future on. And I know this probably gets on Brandon Ingram's nerves because we know who he used to play with. He was lost in the fold in L.A., he goes to New Orleans and totally explodes as a player. And now they're being talked about like they want to get rid of him or they don't want to pay him what he thinks he's worth. And I understand from his perspective why he feels the way he does. I mean, look, and I'm not saying he's better than these other guys. Absolutely, I'm not saying that. But honestly, now I know people are going to get mad when I say this, but what if Kevin Durant and Steph Curry ever done as a solo act? They've never been solo acts. They've always had a Russell Westbrook or, in Kevin Durant's situation, a Steph Curry and a Klay Thompson. And then later on, he had a Kyrie Irving. And then, of course, later on, or now I should say, he has a Devin Booker and a Bradley Beal, right? Steph Curry, when he's won, has always had the nucleus of at least Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. And for a couple of years, 3 years, he had Kevin Durant. But people are getting on Brandon Ingram for not having tremendous success without Zion Williamson. He took them to the playoffs for the most part. So I look at it like this. I think the most likely scenarios are going to be either they're going to trade Brandon Ingram before the trade deadline in 2024-25 season, or like in the situation with Zunis Valanciunas, he's going to play his contract out, then he's going to leave in free agency. That tends to be what I think is going to happen. I could be wrong, But I think that's what's going to happen. So we're going to see. We're going to see. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.